Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 random run, where we take a random character, random weapon, and try to beat Danger 5 with it. Hope you're all doing well. Let's see what the game gives me today, and we've got the Speedy. Alright, so Speedy is a character with a lot of different opportunities to play differently depending on what weapon we roll. There's some weapons here that will make for very weird playthroughs, so let's see what we get, and we got the Shuriken. Shuriken is, I think, a pretty solid weapon for the Speedy. It's what I usually recommend playing this character with. And it's one of my absolute favorite weapons, so that's what we're going to go with, and I'm pretty happy with this roll. Of course, for the Abyss, the Shuriken is nice because cursed shurikens get additional bounces when they critically hit, which can be very powerful. So when you have curse in play, shuriken also gets a little bonus there because of the extra benefit that it gets from curse. Let's roll here, and I'm going to roll again. I'm looking for harvesting, and we're very happy to pick up some harvesting here. And then we're going to roll some more and take another shuriken. Weird food we will also pick up, and we'll grab another shuriken. Weird ghost is a very efficient item, and I think worth grabbing, so I'm going to pick that up as well, and we'll take another shuriken. The main thing that we want is to get our weapon levels online, get our armor fixed, because Speedy comes with -3 armor, so even when you're moving, you have an armor penalty to start with, and it is so important to get good armor on this map that we really need to make sure that we boost our armor out of the negatives. Even though, of course, we never intend to stop moving to trigger the -100 penalty. Now, Speedy is actually harder to play on PC than it is on controller because of the interaction with how the -100 armor penalty is triggered. I'll talk about that actually once we get into the next wave. So let's go ahead and buy some more harvesting, and then we'll take a shuriken and roll, and a shuriken and roll. We're really hoping to level up our shurikens, but getting 6 is pretty good. This is a weapon that really wants to get to higher levels because you get additional bounces, you get higher chance to critically hit, so you're more likely to get bounces. Everything gets better about this weapon as you level up. So the way that Speedy is harder to play on PC, of course I'm on mouse and keyboard, compared to controller, is that we're using a discrete rather than an analog control system. The way the -100 armor is triggered is anytime that your velocity is 0 on this character, you get the -100 armor. That happens if I just reverse direction. So if I'm running left and I switch right, there's a brief moment where we're not moving. So that will trigger the armor penalty, and during that time, we can potentially take a hit for double damage. There's like, I think it's like 4 frames or something. I mathed it out at some point based on the input. So it's not much, but you can get yourself in trouble if you take a hit at the exact wrong moment. Let's roll here. Again, we're looking for harvesting, but I'll take 5 luck. Luck is also good to grab early, and 10 attack speed is also excellent. We're very happy with that. We'll buy all of these and then roll. You can play around that problem with the Speedy by moving in between. So if you're swapping from left to right, if you switch to moving up, then your velocity is never 0, rather than if you reverse direction entirely. So if you want to swap from moving left to right, if you hit the up key and then the right hand movement key, then you can avoid that problem. But it's very hard to retrain yourself to doing that, obviously, after hundreds of hours of doing it the other way. We, of course, want to upgrade our weapons. Also, worth noting that the Shuriken scales with melee damage, so that's why it's a good weapon for Speedy, because we get a ton of additional melee damage. So even though this is a ranged weapon, you can see the little sword there. The damage of the Shuriken is based on your melee damage, not your ranged damage. And we get more and more melee damage the more speed we have, so we can scale that pretty high. At lower levels of this weapon, you have pretty bad melee damage scaling. At level 1, it only scales for 25%, but it goes all the way up to 50% melee scaling at level 4. So again, this is a weapon that benefits a lot from leveling up, because you get additional bounces, you get additional damage scaling. Everything about it gets stronger as you level. Gonna go ahead and kill that curse alien as well, and then here we will I'm not going to buy melee damage. We're just going to get that from buying movement speed because we're the Speedy. So we're going to buy other stuff instead. Here I'm going to take armor. I really want to start boosting my armor as early as possible. Can I afford to buy all of these? I believe so. So let's level. We'll buy all of these items, and then we get a free reroll. Leveled Shuriken is great, and in fact, we're very happy with all of these items. So we're just going to lock this entire shop and move straight on to the next shop. That was an easy one. This is a solid item for the character, of course. This is, I believe this is what I recommended for my Speedy guide many months ago, actually almost 2 years ago now, that Speedy guide would have come out. So I believe I recommended Shuriken at that point. But I'm not going to worry too much about repeats of weapons for this series because it's been so long. And of course, we're playing on the Abyss where everything is a little bit different. So we'll just go with what the game gives me for the most part. Here, I could take 6 dodge, but I'd really like to roll into more harvesting to get ourselves to the 21 harvesting mark. But I'm going to take 3 armor when we get 3 armor. Oh, and of course we have wheelbarrow, so we don't need specifically to roll into harvesting. But the armor, we're now at positive armor. We've got 35 harvesting. We can level our Shuriken as well. And I'll take the claw tree. That will help more with clear speed than the broken mouth, which obviously doesn't do anything for our clear speed. So just buy when you've got 2 items and one gives you increased clear speed or increased economy and the other doesn't, is more defensive, you should usually err on the side of buying the more offensive item or the more economy focused item first, because then it'll pay off in increased income. So Shuriken, even though it scales with melee damage, does count as a ranged weapon for most effects that ask whether it's a ranged weapon. So, for example, those pufferfish are going to explode and generate projectiles. If we have other, the blobfish are going to generate 4 lampreys rather than 2, which is both good and bad, because of course 4 lampreys is harder to kill, but it's also more money. And if we have anything else that cares about it being a ranged weapon, like the items that increase projectiles or give extra piercing or whatever, those will work with it because it's a ranged weapon. I'm going to recycle the snake. We don't really intend to be doing any burning damage, and I'm going to take 8% damage here. 8 harvesting would also be good, but no, I've changed my mind. We're taking 8 harvesting. When I get harvesting early, I'm just usually going to take it. The 8% damage would be nice because our percent damage is quite low, obviously, with -5, but 8 harvesting is so good to get on wave 5 that we're just not going to pass that. You know, I briefly thought, oh, maybe I'll do something different, but then, obviously, we're taking harvesting when we see it. Also, notice that I'm not really prioritizing that heavily buying speed. The Speedy can buy a lot of speed, and you do get bonus melee damage when you buy speed, so it's efficient to do so. But you don't have to buy speed for this character. You can just be a character that just gets 30 speed and 15 melee damage for free, with very minimal downsides. You don't have to build around this character's bonus that heavily in order to just have it be a very powerful character. I think that having Gentle Alien and Peaceful Bee is going to be better for our damage output than or better for our economy than the Shuriken. I don't think our clear speed will require us to get the level 3 Shuriken, so we'll be able to kill all the enemies and even the increased number of enemies with the Gentle Alien. In this way, we can benefit from the harvesting and extra enemy spawns earlier. Ugly Tooth, I'm going to pass on. I've been less and less impressed with this item. Over time, I think that it just doesn't do that much anymore since the nerf. And also, it reduces our speed, so it costs us 1.5 melee damage, which is very relevant. While we don't need to spend too much money buying speed for this character, we really don't want to buy too many items that reduce our speed, because they come with double the penalty. Playing at 30 bonus movement speed is just so nice for the early game. You don't usually get to play with this much speed this early, so being able to just run around, pick up materials, focus the enemies we want, easily dodge everything, just feels so good. think I heavily prioritize movement speed more than most players playing this game. From what I've seen in terms of like guides and advice and everything, I think that most players and content creators and whoever do not prioritize movement speed that heavily. I think that you should buy a lot of movement speed, and I tend to prioritize it pretty heavily. So your mileage may vary, of course, since different people have different styles. You may find that my more movement speed oriented playstyle doesn't work as well for you. But in general, I like buying a lot of movement speed. I'm going to take 10 harvesting here. I do want lifesteal soon, but harvesting is good enough to grab right now. And then we'll take the attack speed because that's very important. Fin, of course, an excellent item for us. Obviously, losing the 8 luck is a real problem, but it will give us lifesteal, which we want, and move speed, which also increases the damage of our weapons significantly. So we're very happy to grab that. We'll take the beanie as well. Sunken Bell, I think I'm actually going to pass on. I just don't think that this item will do that much for us at this point, because if we get that low, then we're kind of in trouble anyways. So I'm going to pass on that and focus on getting items that give us more value overall. You can see now we are very fast. The anglerfish there died quite quickly, and of course, because we've boosted our the base damage of our weapons a lot, we're very happy with that. I do want more critical chance if I can get that, because triggering the bounces on your shurikens is very important. So you want to get to the point where your shurikens crit on 100% of attacks. You don't need to reach 100% critical chance, because they have a lot of inherent crit chance, the shurikens. But you want to get to the point where they are critting 100% of the time you attack with them. So you can stop a little short of having to buy 100% crit chance. Important to remember that, especially for precise weapons, which often come with a lot of crit chance. We will take that bonus HP there, and then continue to level our weapons here. We'll take the beanie. Banner I will take as well. Range isn't bad for the shuriken, because of course the longer ranged the attack is, the more it's going to hit and start bouncing immediately, and attack speed is very, very good for this. Attack speed is really important for the Speedy. Since you move so fast, you can often get ahead of your own attacks, and then you start running into enemies before you have a chance to attack them. The more attack speed you have, the less likely that is to happen. Very happy to get a crown, obviously. Goldfish, I'm always disappointed when I buy the goldfish. You like buy this item, reroll, and just get garbage. So I'm actually going to pass on the goldfish, and then we're going to roll here, and we'll buy a shuriken. And I'll lock a banner as well. I don't really care about the knockback. Knockback would be good for this character, but we don't care that much about reducing it, and I want to buy any attack speed that I can find. The spawner there makes a pretty nice platform to bounce our shurikens off of, so that's kind of nice that we've got that high health enemy to fire shurikens at the rest of the map based on. This character does, of course, want Baby Gecko or Sift's Relic, but it doesn't need it as badly as other shuriken builds. Because we're so fast, we can move around and pick up materials much more easily than most other characters can. So we don't as badly need the material pickup items in order to maintain our income. Did take a hit there, but that's okay. We're going to circle around that guy real quick. And just try to maintain our income this wave. Making 500 on wave 9 is excellent, and you can see here that I only left 21 on the ground, which is pretty nice for a character that's doing a shuriken build. We prefer lifesteal to regeneration on this character, so I'm not going to buy that, but I think we can do better than 1 armor, so I'm going to roll here, and I could just take the harvesting. We have crown, so any harvesting we get now is going to be increased in value even more. Or I could take attack speed, or I could take movement speed for 3 more melee damage. I think I'm going to get greedy and take the harvesting, which you all knew was going to happen, of course. Here, though, I'm going to take the armor over the luck, because we really do want to improve our armor further. Take the crown and the banner and the shady potion. Pocket Factory doesn't really benefit this character very much, so we're going to pass on it. A little sadly, because I love Pocket Factory, but this time it doesn't do much for us. And then we will upgrade our Shuriken. Spyglass is never going to pay off in time to be worth buying here. The reroll price reduction saves you a few materials every wave, but by the time we've paid off 66, it's going to be like wave 14 or 15, and by the time we've actually made money off of the Spyglass, the run will be over. So in general, I think you should avoid this item because it takes so long to pay off. It doesn't make you any stronger while you actually have it, and it's just going to make it harder for you to win the run when you buy this item because you're spending money on something that doesn't make you stronger and doesn't give you that money back for a really, really long time. So I have found I've been less and less impressed with this item. Obviously, that's different for endless runs where you're going to be rerolling a lot more, and Cursed Spyglass is a critically important item for endless runs, but for just normal, trying to win Danger 5 runs, Spyglass is an item to avoid. We'll take the coupon, though, and do I want to do one more reroll? We've already got one item locked, so I think we can just go to the next wave. I really want to like Spyglass. I tried this item so many times because it's an economy item, and you know I love economy items. But it just takes so long to pay off, I think most characters just can't justify picking it. If you're a character with a really improved economy that's rerolling a lot, then you'll make your money back from it in a moderately timely fashion, but still not an incredibly timely one. So even for characters that you might think would be really good for it, it can be less valuable. For something like Arms Dealer, where you're rerolling constantly, it's still a good item, though, obviously. Making decent money this wave, though I will say that my wave clear is starting to suffer a little bit. So I do want to increase my damage output, or especially my crit chance, so that we can actually have more bounces and just get a little more AoE damage. We're going to take the armor here, though. That's good for us. We'll take the ritual. Weird food I will pick up as well, and Beanie, of course, gives us more damage. The baby elephant I think we can pass on. Even with the free reroll, I don't think it's worth spending 40 on that. I'll take the recycling machine and the duct tape, and then roll again. Boxing glove for 1 melee damage just doesn't seem worth that much. Our melee damage should be pretty good from move speed alone, or other efficient ways to buy melee damage. Like if we get mastery, we'll buy that. I'll take the lumberjack shirt. That's pretty nice for Shuriken because it kills the trees quite a bit faster. Shuriken is a lot of low damage attacks, so making us have to spend fewer attacks to kill trees is pretty nice. Jerky, of course, we're going to buy. Celery tea, we currently have no XP gain. We are struggling a little with wave clear, so the doubled enemy health next wave could be a problem. But I'm going to try the celery tea here. I think this is probably not correct, but I want to experiment a little bit with buying celery tea more aggressively in the middle stages of the game, when we're in sort of decent but not incredible shape, and just see how it feels to do that. This is more of an experiment than something that I think is the right move. I think probably to maximize our win chance, we're not supposed to buy celery tea there, because it's going to cost me a lot of money this wave by killing enemies slower. Especially this wave where we've got the mantis shrimp that have damage reduction, and damage reduction combined with multiplying health is... Basically, these enemies are getting the benefits of having armor and high health, the same way that we would. And armor and high health, or armor and damage reduction effects, are synergistic for the enemies just as much as they are for us. So yeah, so the celery tea here was quite bad so far, because it cost me just a ton of money this wave, and I don't think we're going to get that much money back out of the celery tea. Losing 3 out of the XP gain. Losing 3 crit chance, even for 2 melee damage and move speed, I think we're just going to recycle, especially because we have recycling machine. Here I'm going to buy the crit chance. I do want percent damage as well, but we really want to get our critical hits to 100%, especially before the Horde wave. Take this and this. Clockwork Wasp is bonus move speed, so I'll grab that as well. Power Generator, obviously the kind of #1 item for this character, because you're going to be buying so much move speed, and you are already scaling your melee damage, so buying Power Generator means that we're scaling our melee damage and our percent damage off of the same stat. Buying 2 stats that multiply together off of 1 stat is always great. Do I want the Terrified Onion for 2 more melee damage, but -5 luck? That's probably fine, especially because we're going into a Horde wave, so I am a little concerned that my damage output is just not going to be high enough to kill the Horde. So we'll see what our levels are like at the end of the run, but I'm like 90% sure that Celery Tea was bad. Because it just cost me so much money last wave, especially the wave before a Horde, where I should have been able to buy a lot more clear speed. If we'd gotten more stuff that helped us clear this Horde, you know, we could have rolled for more damaging items. We could have rolled for more, like, piercing shots or something. Then that would have been so valuable to have at this point. And so not only did I hurt myself last wave, I've also hurt myself this wave by making myself not get stronger. As much stronger as I would have normally on the previous wave. I'm going to take the lifesteal here. We need some more healing. And we'll take some attack speed as well. And then we'll buy the Shuriken and the Power Generator and the Hit Injury. When it gives a free reroll, do I want Boxing Glove? Yeah, it's probably fine. Nail is kind of a nice one for this character. Again, remember that ranged damage doesn't affect Shuriken at all, so we can happily lose 2 ranged damage. And the base damage of this weapon is the thing that sort of holds it back, as it's got very low base damage. So adding additional scaling from engineering is pretty nice. This is basically for us +2 damage on our shurikens. A little bit less than that because we have -1 engineering right now. So it's +1.6. But that's still probably worth spending 147 on. I think I'm going to buy the shuriken and the beanie first, though. I think that will help more. Do I want 4 crit chance for 126? Yeah, crit chance is so good. And we're already at 80% or 79% on the level 4 shurikens. So we just need to get 20 more crit chance in order to have our weapons, our attacks critical 100% of the time. I like how so often when I've had some experience with an item and I decide to experiment more with it, after having concluded that I usually shouldn't buy it, stuff like Celery Tea, I'll buy it and then immediately go, yep, I was right, shouldn't buy that item. It's just always funny when that happens. Celery Tea is another one that just takes so long to pay off, and the immediate cost is so heavy that I think unless you get it very early, you're usually going to want to avoid that item. Obviously, there's some characters that the doubled enemy health isn't a big deal. I'm going to recycle this. We don't have any explosions. And I'll take percent damage here over speed. Oh, no, wait. I'm going to take speed because we have Power Generator. Triangle of Power I will pick up as well because although we do take more hits than most characters, this is still going to be positive damage for us, and percent damage is very good. Then I'm going to roll. We will take a Shuriken here and lock a Ritual. The Peacock... Actually, I could have taken Peacock and maybe gotten a level or 2 out of it this wave. But I am worried that just if we crash into an enemy because we're going at light speed with 70% move speed, then we'll just die immediately to the increased enemy damage. So I think avoiding the Peacock is still the safer play. Speedy is, I would say, a very straightforward character if you either don't build around the speed benefit at all and just treat it as you've got 30 move speed to start, that's all the move speed you'll ever need. And 15 bonus melee damage, which is great. And then you can just build it like a normal character, just with huge bonuses. Or if you're comfortable moving around very fast, then Speedy is also a very, very strong character, because you can just get a lot of free stats from that. Which, of course, is the direction that we've gone here, is try to build as much move speed as possible. At some point, you're going to want to cap your move speed, so you're going to want to find the shackles that cap your move speed. Because you will eventually get too fast for human reaction time, especially if your reaction time is a little slower, as mine has gotten over the years. Do I want to start building dodge? I don't know that we're going to get to dodge cap anytime soon, but it's probably worth starting thinking about dodge. We'll buy all of these items, and then we'll do a reroll here. And I'm going to take the Lost Duck over the Duct Tape. Obviously, we want both of these items. I guess not obviously, but we do want both of these items because luck is very good, even this late. And Duct Tape gives us armor, which is very, very important. And buying the economy item first is going to be good. Ugly Tooth could help with elites and bosses at this point, but I think we're still going to pass on it. So the great thing about fighting elites with the Shuriken is that you can focus the elite full time, and the rest of the enemies on the field are just going to die while you are focusing the elite. This elite is not too difficult for us. It's not like the easiest one, I think, probably, but because it charges past us and has this attack pattern that just goes in a circle, but is very predictable, we can just stay inside its attack pattern, and because we're so fast, we get to just run in circles around it. So we just kind of just ran circles around that guy. We kind of playground bullied it. And, of course, our Shuriken are just clearing the rest of the wave while we're doing that, because of the bounces. Which is the amazing thing about this weapon. And one reason why it's, like, one of my favorite weapons. I just love the bouncing weapons. They're so satisfying to use. Mouse, of course, is excellent. Lifesteal and increased enemy percentage are both things that we want quite a bit. Okay, so do we want... You know what? I'm gonna go nuts. We're gonna take the axolotl. We're gonna get 162 elemental damage. This is, again, not a good decision, but it is a funny decision. So we're gonna buy all this elemental damage, and now if we find anything that works with elemental damage, we have 162 of it. So we're just gonna go crazy there. We'll buy the crit chance, and I will take this, and I'm gonna pass on the garden. I don't think we really need that. Mouse is going to be good. Cauldron I will take, and then I'm going to roll. Fairy for 14 regen is probably still worth it, even though we're mostly focusing on... even though we're mostly focusing on lifesteal rather than regeneration. Let me reroll here. I really want something that gives us... that works with elemental damage. If we could get a scared sausage, that would be so good. Obviously, this is going to really hurt our economy for the rest of the game, because I just gave up 200 harvesting. But it is also funny. I like that this run has like a twist ending. Suddenly we're an elemental damage build. If only I can find a scared sausage or anything. I think also at this point you've gotten the idea of Shuriken with Speedy, so if we find a flamethrower or something like that, I'm just going to pick it up to go with the axolotl. Because we've already fought a delete and everything. If you are looking for a win with this character, this is a great way to get it, and you can see why. I will just take more melee damage, and we'll take some more dodge here. Gonna buy the Peaceful Bee as well. The fairy, that just gives me positive regeneration, which isn't bad. I'm going to pass on the wheat, actually. I don't think I want that. I'm going to go ahead and buy another shuriken and then reroll. Another shuriken and a spicy sauce I don't care about. Rip and Tear is nice. We have so much melee damage, and then we'll take the hedgehog as well, because this gives us, I guess it's regen neutral, because it comes with -1. And so, yeah, the 2 melee damage I don't care about. Rip and Tear, even though it costs me crit chance, which obviously is a real penalty for this character, this is probably the hardest elite for this character, because these shots that just hang in the air are fairly hard to avoid when you move this quickly. But once we get to stage 2 and it's just firing these groupings at us, we can again just roll around it in circles, and it's very rarely going to actually hit us, because it fires at where we are when it takes the shot, not where we're going to be in a couple seconds, since we move so fast. Come on, get me anything that does elemental damage. I will probably take this run a couple levels into endless mode, just if we don't get anything cool, just so that we can get a scared sausage or something and go nuts with 200 elemental damage. Kraken's Eye, of course, is always going to be worth grabbing just for the 10 curse and 10 HP. The actual effect of that item isn't that exciting, but 10 curse and 10 health is massive, so you're very happy to have that just for those things. We're going to go ahead and combine by the Rip and Tear. Boiling Water is 1 regen, but we don't really need that. Obliterator, sadly, does not scale with elemental damage. Scarf is pretty good, though. We can pick that up. There's an Icicle that does 400 damage, so you know what? Let's just buy the Icicle. I'm just curious how this will work out, because we've got so much elemental damage. Icicle attacks very slowly, so honestly I don't expect it to outdamage our shurikens, because it's got a slow-moving projectile, and attacks very slowly. But it is just funny that we've got 300 elemental damage from the axolotl. Also, I know I am mispronouncing that word slightly, axolotl, because the real pronunciation is pretty difficult for English speakers. Because it uses a consonant sound that we don't have. Let me take the lifesteal here, and obviously we're not taking the ball and chain because our weapons attack much faster than that, even the cursed ball and chain. Actually, I guess 0.4, yeah, we can take the cursed ball and chain. Let's go ahead and grab that, and we'll take the scarf as well, and then reroll here. Leveled up shuriken is fine. We'll take the coupon and the lemonade. The icicle dealt 15k, so it is outperforming our other weapons. What I really like about the Speedy is just how you can, like, weave through the enemies here. And as long as you've got decent damage, you can really get kind of nuts with it. I mean, there I took a hit, but we're able to go through these large groups of enemies, and because we move so fast, they can't catch me. So I can do a lot of stuff without taking any damage that other characters would be completely unable to navigate. Like that run through the center there, for example. Not that one, because I walked into everything, but you get the idea. Handcuffs, capping my max HP, I don't really care about. Let's go ahead and recycle the handcuffs here. And then I'm going to roll here. We'll take 16% damage. There's some more elemental damage, but nothing that scales off of it. The coupon, actually, I probably shouldn't buy unless I am going into Endless. We'll do like 3 or 4 levels of Endless mode and just see if we can find something cool that scales off of elemental damage, like particle accelerator or something. Ooh, Captain Sword. On the other hand, Cursed Captain Sword would be pretty funny also, but I think we're gonna work on the axolotl. All right, here we go. Fireball. That's kind of perfect. 120 damage fireball that also does that also does 400 damage burning. That seems pretty good. Do I sell the icicle for it, which is doing so much less than our shurikens? Probably. I'm just gonna... No, we're gonna go for the elemental damage, and I'm going to roll here, and that sniper gun would also have been pretty nice, but of course doesn't do the elemental damage thing that we were trying to do. So let's go ahead and just do the twist ending thing, where we just build into purely elemental weapons, like this taser, and see if we can beat the elites that way. And there's a scared sausage. Roll one more time. I could take the honey as well, because of course our explosion damage is very good. Or we have explosions from the rip and tear. Wow, Cursed Bloody Hand, that would be a really nice one as well. Okay, we're gonna, so we do have Triangle of Power, so that's minus 120 damage, but the Cursed Bloody Hand is giving me plus way more than 120 damage, so it's still gonna be damage positive. Let's roll here. And I'm going to roll again, and there we go. Level 4 Fireball, level 2 Cursed Taser, and a Sharp Bullet. Alright, this is enough to convince me I want to play a couple levels of Endless with this build, because it's just so silly. Then we're going to light everything on fire here. We're killing these bosses much slower than if I had just stuck with the shurikens, also. But I do love how much damage the elemental damage weapons are doing. Very curious what the damage numbers after this wave are going to be on our different weapons. Probably going to be Rip and Tear that just did the most damage. This is fun because this is like normally would be a fairly straightforward run, of course, with the Shuriken, which is a very good weapon for the character. But we get this twist ending with the axolotl, which is one thing I love about that item. It's not a very strong item usually, but it does just create such goofy moments, and that's something that I really enjoy happening in this game, because that's one thing this game does very well. We have a good crit chance, so we'll take the Giant's Belt anyways, and we'll take a turret to go with all of my fire. Exoskeleton we will take as well, and duct tape and clover. Yep, we're happy with all those. Take some more max HP, because my max HP is quite low. And then we're going to buy the Bloody Hand, Cursed Bloody Hand. So good here. We will curse and upgrade our taser, and I'm going to, I guess... We did do 20,000 damage with the brass knuckles here, which is kind of fun. Let's recycle the... What's doing the least damage? I guess it is the brass knuckles, but let's just be a full elemental damage build. So we're going to buy the fireball, and then we're going to roll here, take a gentle alien. Now, I don't want another triangle of power, because that does start to make the bloody hand hurt more. For now, the bloody hand is still highly damage positive, but if we buy too many triangles, then it obviously won't be. We'll take another icicle here for 800 base damage. That's so awesome. Two of the same elite. Two of the same elite is typically harder than... Oh, wow. We flatten those guys. All right. The level 4 fireball, I think, just mashed them. I mean, also our damage is just ridiculous because we have the Cursed Bloody Hand. And had been building lifesteal already. We also do have Kraken's Eye alongside a damage over time item, so we do get constant explosions. So if I get an explosion size item, the Kraken's Eye could actually start doing a decent amount of damage, especially because we also have Rip and Tear, which is just good for bonus damage as well. The plant I will not take because I don't want to lose any lifesteal. I'll take that. I will recycle the torture, of course, here. And then we're going to pick up some percent damage. No, I can definitely do better. I'll take the armor here. Move speed would be nice as well, but armor I think is going to be better. And then I'll still take bag. We're going to recycle our last shuriken, even though the shuriken's doing such good work for us. But we're elemental now. This fireball did so much damage. Level 3 fireball. We're going to get rid of the flaming brass knuckles for the fireball here. And then, of course, cape. 5% lifesteal and a bunch of dodge. That's exactly what we want. We will roll here. We'll take a coffee. And so this does cost me 1 elemental damage, but the 2 lifesteal that we get is probably worth more because we get the Bloody Hand bonus damage and we get a regen from Fairy. Aren't totally irrelevant either. Something that I see a lot that sort of advice that's given is don't buy Fairy on endless runs because you'll end up with losing a lot of regeneration from it because you'll just get more level 4 items than level 1 items, and so you'll end up just losing regen from the Fairy. But you should actually still buy Fairy because it will help you get to the point where you don't care about your regeneration at all. And then endless mode runs you just don't care about your healing for the most part. You need because your HP is just going to be the number of tardigrades you have. So, because everything's going to start one-shotting you at some point. It's just not possible to get enough health and armor to outpace the incoming damage. So having negative regen doesn't matter at all because you're never going to actually want to heal because you're never taking real damage. You're either dead or not dead, the binary state of Brotato. I will take the laser turret. It can spread fire around, which is pretty nice for us. And then let's reroll here. So you should buy Fairy because it's very powerful to get you to that point. And then also it gives you 1 fewer unique in the pool. So it makes your shop better because it stops showing up for you. Yeah, we'll take the eye surgery and we'll roll here. I'll take a lantern. Strange book, we can get 170 engineering. That's why I bought the laser turret, by the way, also, because the strange book is going to be so nice with all this elemental damage we just built up. Sure, we'll take more elemental damage, and probably going to play to like wave 25. But I am enjoying the 2,000 damage criticals from these fireballs. 2,500 there. I'm pretty happy swapping off my weapons, even though this is a random challenge, because we got an item that supports that, and also, this again is a very straightforward item, or a very straightforward character weapon combination, and we played enough of it that you can, you know, I think you guys will accept that I can win the game with that combo. That was not in doubt at the point where we swapped off of it. Obviously, we recycle the white flag. Medical turret, I'm going to take this because we're about to get 1 billion engineering, and it's just going to be funny to see how much healing the medical turret gives us. So we'll take the strange book, and medical turret now heals us for 12, which is pretty great. I'll take Sif's relic here, and we'll take the beanie as well. I'm going to roll here. I'll take the jelly just for the regen, and I'll take energy bracelet because elemental damage, of course, is good for us, and crit chance is nice also. Alright, can we kill this elite? I would expect that the answer is going to be yes. We can kill these elites because they are taking so much damage there. Of course, we have Giant's Belt as well, which does percentage-based damage. If we get Greek Fire also, that can help this build really scale into the endgame because elemental damage is so useful for for killing bosses now that Greek Fire exists. Or burning damage is, at least. Doing 169 damage a shot from our turret. Once again, the perfect number. I'd love to get a particle accelerator or like a nuke launcher or something. Something really awesome that scales off of elemental damage. And... okay, so... we would lose 400 regen to pick up this cursed Estes couch, which is pretty funny, just being at negative 400 regen. We also, of course, lose 32% speed, which cost me a ton of damage and melee damage. But we're stopping next wave anyways. Let's take the Estes couch. Take the night goggles, and we'll take the bat. I just enjoy seeing these numbers swing so much. So this is another twist ending. And I'll take a cursed cyber ball and the lantern, and then do a reroll here. Oh, the Tyler's nice because it scales both with our very, very high engineering and our very high elemental damage. We would buy the fuel tank as well. All right, let's go to wave 25. Oh no, we're so slow now. What a terrible item SD Scout is. I need to get used to being 32% slower also, because I'm now like walking into things. Because you get into a rhythm, of course, of knowing how you have to move to dodge. When your speed changes drastically, that can throw you off. But I buy Estes couch, I think. I've probably bought it, I don't know, once or maybe twice in, whatever, 500 Brotato videos that I've done. And almost every time it was wrong. You know, all of the times that I've bought it, it was wrong. So, it's just fun to get an opportunity to buy that item sometimes. And then we'll buy all this stuff. And sure, we'll take the regen here. And let's take a look at our weapons and items. So we've got that was a really sick run. We've got all of our we managed to basically fully change what the character's doing. So now our fireballs and stuff are doing the most damage. The cursed taser actually keeping up okay in damage. 40k there compared to the 90k. So it's doing half the damage of the level 4 fireball. Not amazing, but not totally embarrassing either. We got an early wheelbarrow, which was worth a lot, but actually not that many other early economy items. 219 healing from the tentacle, of course, very good when you're building crit chance. Peaceful Bee is excellent. We've got this very early crown, which gave us 59 harvesting, which of course is great. The coupons were good. The recycling machine was good. This nail. Oh yeah, nail also with the strange book. I totally forgot we had the nail when I bought strange book. So obviously that was a great find, the strange book, because it boosts the damage of our weapons hugely from the nail scaling, because we now have 20% of our 180 engineering is base damage on our weapons. The ball and chain, of course, we would not have bought if I had been intending for at that point to go heavily into endless mode. Because we want our attack speed should be getting much higher if we are going to continue further into endless mode. Bloody Hand is worth 208% damage and a bunch of curse, which is great. Giant Belt dealt 65k. So the Bloody Hand definitely works out. Again, sometimes people get really up in arms about buying this when you have Triangle of Power, but Triangle of Power you can think of as minus 120% damage if you have a damage over time item, but then plus 20%, so it's basically minus 100% damage. So we still gain 108% damage even at the end of the wave. And the penalty comes over time, and we get the bonus all up front. So Bloody Hand with Triangle of Power, if you have enough lifesteal, or if it's cursed, can still be a huge boost to your damage output, as indeed it was in this case. Even this late bag was worth 150. Estes Couch costing me 228 regen. Very funny there. So overall, this was a very fun run. As always, my friends, I hope that you enjoyed this one, and if you have, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out a ton with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks, and I will catch you next time.